Alright, welcome to what was my office. If you notice all the shit in the background, my wife, kids, and I are moving to Michigan in a couple weeks, on June 1st actually, so please bear with me on the shitty background for at least a few videos. Alright, thanks. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the movie Underwater. Underwater is what a lot of people have described as just underwater aliens, which although I don't like that people are drawing that distinction and directly comparing it to aliens, it is for the most part accurate. But I'll read you the synopsis that it has on Google just so you have a better understanding than just aliens underwater. Disaster strikes more than 6 miles below the ocean surface when water crashes through the walls of a drilling station. Led by their captain, the survivors realize that their only hope is to walk across the seafloor to reach the main part of the facility, but they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when they come under attack from mysterious and deadly creatures that no one has ever seen. Now, the distinction for Alien is very clear in that. It's a monster movie of things you can't see, when there's no power, and you basically just have to take a journey somewhere in order to finish off the movie. But that's kind of where it ends, and people are comparing it a lot more to that than they really should. It's like comparing Godzilla to Jurassic Park just because they both have big-ass lizards in it. And that's an unfair comparison to make, and this movie is getting a really bad rap for not only that, but people are saying that it doesn't have enough character progression. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I really don't think that harms the movie in any kind of way, even though, yeah, they don't really have any character progression. But let me start out by starting with the beginning of the movie. This movie starts with just opening credits that have exposition on like news headlines and shit. And I really like that. You get all of this information you need to know how we got to this part of the movie where these people are underwater in what is called the Marianas Trench. 1 second. Yeah, surprisingly I pronounced that right. It's the Mariana Trench. Anyway, it gives you all this exposition in just a couple minutes with the opening credits and why they're in the Mariana Trench, who these people are, what they're looking for, the fact that there's been disturbances in that area before, phenomena that nobody understands, and then it jumps right into the action. And I'm not shitting you. I mean that within the first 45 seconds, minute and a half of this movie, you're introduced as Kristen Stewart. She's just in the bathroom, she's getting changed, brushing her teeth, combing her hair, whatever she's doing, and then water starts to drip down and everything starts to explode and she's immediately booking it. She's just booking it, and then she has to close a door on some people and she meets another character that is a frequent character throughout the movie, and that's it. We're just in this shit. There's no half hour of pointless story and character that nobody cares about because they know this is a thriller, they know it's a horror, and we're just like, come on, get to the point. And a lot of people are using that as a fault against it, saying that, you know, we should be given more. We're given enough. We're given just enough. It's perfect. Another thing that people give this movie a bad rap for is just the fact that it has Kristen Stewart and TJ Miller, two actors that are widely disregarded as bad actors, and people see them in movies and like, oh, I'm just not gonna see that because it has this person. Kristen Stewart, just because Twilight has haunted her since she's done those movies, which, yeah, they're awful, but she signed a contract, guys. Come on, give her a break. You know how many good fucking movies she's done since then? Also, disregard Charlie's Angels. She's a good actress, I swear. She has it in her. She's done good stuff. I liked her a lot in like American Ultra and Adventureland. Twilight, it's like a cult classic. It's loved, but it's mostly hated, and they just weren't great movies, and you can't blame her whole career for a contract she signed as a teenager. Now, when it comes to TJ Miller, I kind of get that. He's a sleazeball, he's not a great guy, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding him, and if you don't like the character that he plays, then you're never gonna like any character he plays because he plays the same damn character. But one thing I will give this movie credit for is that his character is elevated a little bit. It still has the same TJ Miller one-liner jokes, which personally I'm a fan of. I like TJ Miller, he's a sleazeball, yeah, but you gotta separate the art from the artist, and I've always thought he was very hilarious and does his part well. But in this one, it elevates him a little bit. Yeah, he's the comedic relief for sure, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a good guy, he has good intentions, he helps people, and there's one scene in this where there's just this like terrified woman, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, I think maybe Emily. They need to go out to retrieve something, and he's like, all right, Emily, your time to shine. And she just freaks out and he's like, I'm just fucking with you, I got this. He's just a good-natured guy. He's very quirky, he's got this rabbit, it's hard to explain, you gotta watch it, but I promise you, this is one of TJ Miller's better performances. It has a bunch of other actors in this and actresses. I'm really not going to get into it. None of them really matter that much. It's got John Gallagher Jr. from The Newsroom. I thought that was really cool. But again, nobody really matters in this. Characters don't matter in this. This is not a character movie. This is a plot movie. And that's probably the most important thing that you can remember when watching this, is like I said, everybody's biggest complaint with this is that there's no character progression. But that doesn't matter. There's amazing story progression. There's amazing action and thrills and a little bit of horror mixed in there. Movies don't have to be about characters. You want a character movie? Go watch Forrest Gump. You want a story movie? Well, also go watch Forrest Gump. That's a great movie. But my point is, it doesn't matter who these people are. It's not about the people. It's about the plot and it's about what's happening. Something that this movie does absolutely spectacularly, is that you don't see the monster until towards the very end. And that's what everybody, including me, always says is mandatory about thriller and horror. It's why Jaws works so well. It's why other horror movies that are good, it's why they work so well. It takes away from the scare of the monster, of the ghost, of whatever the fuck, the killer, who cares. If you see it too early on, or if you even see it at all, what you can imagine in your mind is scarier than whatever they can show you. The fact that this is a movie set underwater in the Marianas Trench, and everything's pitch black and you can barely see anything. By the way, watch this with the lights off. If you complain that it's a bad movie because it's too dark, turn the lights off. Come on. But they do that phenomenally. I will say that the monsters are weird. They're not scary at all. It's not bad CGI, it's good CGI, but they're not scary monsters. So once you actually see the monsters, it stops being a horror thriller, more starts being like a sci-fi emotional turmoil movie until the end. And that's okay too. But up until the point that you see the monsters, this is an amazingly thrilling movie. The entire time I'm just on the edge of my seat, wondering what the hell's gonna happen next? What are those sounds? Is it gonna come up behind them? There's not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie. There's no character development, like I said, good thing in this actually. But the whole damn time is just action set piece to action set piece to action set piece, where it just gets more and more and more and more thrilling and daring. It's phenomenal. It's very, very good. Now, I only have a couple more real important things to touch on, but one thing I do want to touch on before I get to the ending of this is the cinematography and just the captures you get in this. 99% of this movie, I'm sure, is CGI. But despite that, and even because of that, it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. It is just gorgeous. The way that they use the darkness and what little light they have to work in their favor is just pure genius. And there isn't a single frame of this during the action that is bad to look at. So even if you're not scared, even if you're not thrilled or blood pumping from the action, at least you have something amazing to look at and something amazing to hear. Audio is incredibly important in this. Watch it in a dark, quiet room. Now, if everything I said isn't spoilers enough, definitely spoilers here, although if you watch my videos, you should really understand at this point that everything I say is spoilers. This is not a spoiler-free zone. I talked for at least 10, 12 minutes on everything. I can't do that without telling you shit, and I don't want to do that without telling you shit. That's no fun on my end. But anyway, the ending, it turns out that they've awakened like this giant, massive, like Godzilla size. I'd say it's like SCP-3000. They awakened SCP-3000 basically, and all these little monsters that have been coming off of it are basically just bugs compared to this big thing. And there's 2 escape pods left. One is broken. John Gallagher Jr. and Emily go up. Kristen Stewart has to stay behind. Anyway, Kristen Stewart has to stay behind. She has to blow herself up, and this whole damn drilling rig. Damn cat. And this whole damn drilling rig to save them. And then there's more exposition or post-position, I don't know what the fuck the word is, in the credits that says that, you know, these 2 people that escaped aren't allowed to talk to anybody and they're gonna start rebuilding immediately, so don't worry. This facility is gonna be up and running soon. And it's a very emotional ending. It's a very cool and gorgeous ending. I originally thought that it was actually part of the Cloververse. I thought this monster was like a Cloverfield monster. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it's not part of the Cloververse. Not that this movie was made for the Cloververse or that they considered it. I'm surprised that the people that are in charge of Cloververse, whoever the hell they are, didn't want it. Because as you know from Cloverfield Paradox, it doesn't matter if you make the movie for the Cloverfield universe. Anything can be Cloververse if you just spend a little bit of editing money. But this movie would have actually been really good for the Cloververse. I think that it would have been like a great like sub-origin origin story or something. But yeah, that's all. Yep, that's all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos.